From what I know about the way Christian worked, I believe he was a really good freehand artist, which was also, he was, I'd actually met him by tattooing him. I did his forearm. I don't know if I did more, I can't remember. So we met a few times in my shop in Lausanne, and I think I might have met him on a convention or two. Yeah. But yeah, there was a wave of an explosion of tattooing at the end of the 80s to 90s. A lot of information coming over from America, a lot of sharing of information. People started moving around, and you saw these styles come up. And Christian was like Hernandez in a way. There would be a school. They would do the face, which was something I'm not interested in. You can look at what I do. I never draw realistic. I never draw portraits. It's not my discipline. But they were very impressive in that human body, human face. And then big scale too, which he was actually much more to my taste. I liked Christian's size, where other people were working still really tight and small. He was doing huge shadings and fucking. And yeah, it inspired me a lot as well, because that's the kind of tattooing that's the most fun for me. I like tattooing sometimes, and fuck the design and all the samurais and the fucking details, and sometimes just making a big shading of black is so much fun. It really is. It's easy. You can work this with big needles, and you can work the shading. You don't have to think about art. You only think about tattooing and technique, and it's very pleasurable kind of work. So I saw a lot of that in Christian's work. I was very jealous, actually. I was like, he's right, And this comes from working with the pastel, shading with your fingers and stuff. It makes you simple and big. Yeah, so he was very ahead of his times. There was a few people, that would stand out. Yeah, a real, what he brought was art into tattooing. Pushed him really a lot. For black and gray, yeah, it's just no color. You can go from very fine line Chicano work, which is detailed, single needle. It's just black and shading. Now they put white, but it's not a good idea really. White's, just for the photo. In a few years, maybe. All the way to Christian style, which is almost art school sketching, charcoal look. Yeah. There's a whole range in there: portraits, black and gray lettering, mainly no color. Which is a tattoo that will change less over time. Like I was saying, this used to be red. Black turns to blue, but it's still, if you have a nice black and gray shaded piece, it'll last a lifetime. Unless the guy went too hard. But there's a guy today that makes me think, what's his name? He does big women's faces on the back. The mouth is like this big, and the eye, it's all black and gray. It's a bit like Hernandez, and a lot like Christian as well, for the size. Mainly that was what was really cool about his work, is that he didn't fuck around with tiny little. You could see it from far. And you're like, I know who made that tattoo. A lot of people do it now, more and more. But when he was doing it, there was few people. Very few. Like I say, I think the first time I met him, he actually came to visit me and get tattooed by me at a big shop in Lausanne with two guys, Guido and Ringling. I remember he came with a bunch of work to show me in a row, his drawings, and I was doing the same big drawings in charcoal, so we were talking about why it's good to, you see, when people learn how to tattoo, they start like this. Right? And then a little bit later, they're like this, something like this. But to actually learn to stand up and work like this is something totally different, and helps you change your mind. He was good at it. You can see in the book that was made on his works. Yeah, big scale. I don't even know if he went to art school or if he was self-taught. Self-taught? Yeah. I remember thinking he was part of the Paul Booth environment, kind of. There's a whole group of artists in tattooing that are like on the dark side, right? I like skulls, but my skulls tend to be a little happier. I like to make them smile and things like that. But he was dark, Christian. He was dark. I don't know, yeah. Because he was a happy guy. It wasn't like he was a doom, gloom, death fucking. I think he did like the kind of metal, though, if I remember. See, I play with my friends. We play funk and blues, right? I'd like to play metal. I'm just not good enough. It's fucking technical. It's easy, I think. It's easier to draw, I think, horrible than lovely. For me, right? Horrible comes easy. Zombies was one of the first things I was practicing when I started. I love to do dead skin. It helps me imagine how it looks, the dimension of it. If you really like something, you can see it in your mind more 3D. So when you draw on it, you get the right dimension. Now it's a lot more people doing what he's doing. That's why I say he was way ahead of the group, because that's the right way to work, I think. Practice, execution, thinking. He worked at his art, right? It didn't come like this. You have to do it, make. What you see in the book, I'm sure the work he threw away was a lot, because we all do that. We keep the good stuff. Yeah. There's a few people, Guy Atchison, there's a few guys out there that have really, I think when people meet them, they want to work, Luke, Germany, Atkinson. Yeah, so we had a good connection like that because we were on the same track, right? This is what we want to do. So it's nice when you meet people who are doing the same thing their own way, but they're doing it, they're working. Yeah, it was cool. Like I say, I never got to work with them. I sometimes I tattoo with people, and then I really start to see how they do it, On his art, he had a good approach. It was a classical approach, he was doing his homework. And the tattooing too, he seemed to be much freer than a lot of people. I mean, I try to do that too. That's why we like meeting each other, so we take ideas. But I didn't know him personally enough, since I only met him work environment, studio, a few times. It's the problem, we're all busy in our corner working. We never meet each other. It's difficult for me to go out of the shop and go visit people. That's what I did when I was younger. That's why my father sent me traveling. It took me over a year to come home and go visit, work with, and see. Again, no internet. Now, if I want to see a Japanese guy, I can watch him work for a little while, It's it was hard to do what he was doing back then because people were like, what? You had to convince him it's good. Yeah, but it's so empty, you know what I mean? But maybe another design, when you do these big shades, people panic. They feel like they've wasted their arm or something. They don't see the big picture. Yeah. So it's easier now to do big picture work on people. They get it. They've seen it, more examples. Before you really had to sell it. That's not easy. You gotta find the people. So. All I can say is when I heard he died, I was very sad. It's we lost a good artist. There's a good tattooer too, because he came from the old school. And he had to work his way up. So you learn, yeah. He should have lived longer. He would have done better and better work. Yeah, sad thing. Yeah, it's going to happen to all of us, right? His work lives on. That's the only thing we leave behind. Sometimes I think it's sad. We chose a profession like a butterfly. My work only lives as long as everybody wearing it. The only other place I survive is in a photo. I should have worked on stone or metal, last forever. Yeah, it's a short life tattooing for the artist and for the work.